Hey there, self-care warriors. Welcome back to Hold My Purse, the show that is all about putting you at the center of your life with some serious, badass self-care and love. I'm your host, Ro. And on this show, we dive into stories of resilience and transformation and love. And today I have the honor of speaking with my friend Lola Carney, who has graciously agreed to share her remarkable journey with us, from overcoming personal struggles to finding love amidst life challenges. And her story is one of courage and inspiration. Welcome, Lola, to the show. It's such an honor to have you here.
The honor is mine, bro. To be your friend, to be a part of this Hold My Purse community is more than I can explain. This podcast has helped me in my view, and I'm hoping what I do today can somehow inspire someone else somewhere down the line.
Oh man, you're off to a good start, and we haven't even started. Wow, you look amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you.
love
Thank you.
seeing happy on people. I really do.
I do too. And I think that's one of the things that I try to do every day. To be the smile for someone else, because not everyone knows how to smile all day.
That
I'm
part.
also not one to ever ask someone to hold my purse. So when you take a step back and remind yourself that you are surrounded by other
Mhm.
warriors just like you, there is nothing more important than having someone you can ask to hold your purse.
That part, that part. So you did it. I love it. Wow. Okay, so let's just dive right in. I want to start with the beginning of your journey because I remember years ago you made the decision to start running. And I want to know what prompted you to do that. And what was that experience like for you? Because I remember seeing you on Facebook and you were doing this, and I was like, dang, I cannot run 100 yards, but you were doing miles. I'm like, how the heck? Like, please, I'm
Um,
always like amazed with people, anyone that just runs, because my knees are like, no, it's not happening.
Mine are not my friend most days, but it was honestly something to focus on, something to
Okay.
clear my mind and get myself in a better situation.
Okay.
At the time I started running, I was almost 350 pounds.
Okay.
I was married. Um, for those that ask, I'm a widow. So we'll just clarify that. We will
Mhm.
probably get into more of that story along the way.
Yeah. Mhm.
But me and my husband at the time decided that we wanted to have children. And I knew at that weight, it was not going to be safe. He was also overweight. So we decided this healthcare journey that we would hustle hard. And I needed something. I'm very type A, very in my head. And I needed something to focus on. So I downloaded a Couch to 5K and four half marathons later and almost 7 years of running, it's still my outlet for days when I forget to ask for help, when I need
Mhm.
some kind of clarity to remember to stop and breathe, to take a breath, to focus. There is nothing like, there are days where I run with every podcast known to man, 100 different playlists. And there are days I run with nothing, where all I can hear are the birds in the wind, and remember that there is goodness in just stopping and taking a breath to smell the roses. Um, it hasn't been easy. I have kind of fallen off on my running. I do still enjoy a great walk or bike ride. There is just something about being in nature and wholesome that reminds you to reflect that it's not that hard to just be out there and take a breath when you need it some days. That you have to find a center and a peace in just being. Some
Mm.
people do yoga. Some people do cardio drumming, but sometimes just listening to nature and what God has provided for us to visualize is so much more than an Instagram story.
Mm.
It's so much different than watching social media. That if you can take the minute to just remember how precious life and your breathing is, that you find the strength to keep going in whatever life throws at you.
Wow, that is beautiful. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I have a dog. So in the morning I take him out and I recently started leaving my phone in the house because what I found I was doing, I was walking in on my phone and I was missing the blue sky, or even if it was raining, the birds, like I was missing everything around me that was nature. And as you said, like it's got this calming feeling to it, and it
Yes,
forced me to be present, in the moment of walking my dog. Because I mean, if you're into the news at all and you watch what's going on in Gaza and you see, like, bombs going off, I'm like, I get into my gratitude. I'm so grateful I have calm skies. I'm so grateful of the palm trees that are on my street. I'm so grateful for life. Like, you get into that space and it changes your day.
it
Right? I mean,
does.
it completely
There
changes.
is such a calmness and peace. And a lot of times I took my dog with me.
Mhm.
Mr. Ruckus loves himself a
Mr.
walk and
Ruckus. I
and
remember
loves
when
to
you got
smell.
Mr. Ruckus.
Yes. Little fool is 9 years old next month. But
Golly.
his days that he just wants to, there are days where he's like, nope, I'm out here for business. I'm out here because mom wants to lose weight. And then there are days where he's like, no, I want to know the news. I want to know the tea. I want to know who has been in my hood while
Yep.
I've been
The
out here.
sniffing, right?
And I'm like, that's precious. His life is so simple.
Yeah,
But that
right.
is such a highlight for him
Yeah.
to take the grass, to roll
Mhm.
in it, to sniff on other people's poop.
The
That
life
sometimes,
the life of a dog, I'm like, "Man, I wish my life was this simple."
right? I'm like, oh, you little freeloader. Life is so hard for you.
Right, freeloader, that is so right. Um, okay, but then, you went through this journey and then tragically life threw
Life hit.
you yeah, threw you a
life
curveball
hit.
and you're
Life hit me hard. At
yeah.
39 years old, I was married, and in the blink of an eye, it feels like I became a widow at 39 years old. At 37, we found out um, we were in the journey of fertility treatment, and we found out that he got sick. We thought it was just pneumonia. Turns out it was not. He was diagnosed at 43 with stage 4 lung cancer. And it was a journey. It took the wheels off my life. We are programmed as humans to create a plan, and
Mm,
you grow up, you go to school, you get a degree, you meet that someone, you get married, you have kids, you start a family, and it just goes on. For me, life took a change. I got married, was thinking of starting a family, and God in the universe said, nope, this isn't in your story.
mm,
And it shook me. It questioned everything I was ever thought to believe in or have a purpose for.
mhm,
And it took me a minute to realize, wait, nope, this is our plan. We're going to fight this. Our focus is us. And we went through 2 years of treatment, the highs and lows. And unfortunately, he lost his battle. As a healthcare worker, when we got that diagnosis, it was a timeline for me. I knew in my head that one day we would get to 2 years later,
yeah,
and it didn't make it easier. And it still doesn't. It still pushes and holds on.
mhm,
But there is so much through that journey that now, 2 years later, almost three, I can sit back and look that my plan that I had wasn't the right one, but I still have another one. There's still going to be another plan out there for
Mhm.
me. And I refuse to not wanting to wake up every day and keep going for that plan
I love hearing that.
because I want to be here. And I think the want to be here makes the days that it's really hard to be here
Mhm.
have their own reason. There are days where it takes everything in all of this to get out of bed. And then I remind myself, I get a minute, I get to shed those tears, and then I have to smile. I have to pick something in that pain to smile about, to take that minute that there is so much love and memory and
Mhm.
hope that I want to keep sharing that. When Buck was going through his cancer treatment, one of the things I promised to hold on was we could be going to the oncologist's office. And Buckhead, if you knew him, had the most amazing fight for life and kindness. He literally was a big teddy bear. He didn't care who you are. He said hello. You got a hi. He acted like he knew you for 15 years because he just believed in sharing and creating joy and happiness, even when he was hurting. So we would go to these treatments, and his oncologist would constantly be like, man, it doesn't matter what I might be having to tell you right now. You have a smile on your face. And his response to that was, I'm still here, so I'm gonna smile. So sharing that smile every day is something that I want to do. It's
Mhm.
my way of carrying on his legacy to being better than the day I was before. There is something about sharing a smile and kindness, even on your worst days, because it is worse out there. People have it so much worse than you could ever think.
Mhm.
And one of the girls at work brought up this thing, uh, how when you didn't want to finish your plate as a kid, how your parents would say they're starving kids in Africa,
Mhm.
how at that age it didn't make sense. But there's so much truth in that, that there are starving people for happiness and life and love and joy that you can't help not be the reason to share it when you can.
Hate. That is so beautiful. I mean, I think about that a lot because, I mean, everyone is going through something in life. Let's Life is life, and right? But if
Yes.
we can stay centered on being grateful, and that's the thing that I've been practicing a lot lately, just being grateful for what I have because there is undoubtedly someone out there that's worse off than me. And for me, it's always this notion of just like what Buck used to do. I always try to smile at people, even my sister, who Monique, y'all are best friend. One time we were in a club and we were just dancing, and this woman fell next to me. And so I helped her up and I just started talking to her. And then she walked away. Mo was like, "Oh, who is that?" I was like, "I don't know. I just met her." But I try to be that way because everyone has something that's on their heart or something that they're going through in life just to bring that extra joy, smile. And obviously, she needed to talk to somebody about something. And
Right.
in that 5 minutes, I was able to be there for a total stranger. And I don't mind doing that. So I'm so glad that you just like, you know what? I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna enjoy life because there's so many people that can't even get out of bed when
No,
they are
and
hit
that
with tragedy, you know?
is so hard. And that's in seeing you do this, that gives women across the board and men,
Mhm.
you have to have an outlet or something to realize just a different spin on life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I've gone through therapy. I still go through therapy because it sometimes takes someone else
Mhm.
to have an outlet. Or one thing I've realized in all of this when I became a widow at 39, like that is not something you think happens to a lot of people.
Really don't. And 43
And
is
then
so
you
young.
walk out in the world as a widow,
Yeah.
you start talking to people
Mhm.
and you start meeting other ones. You're like, oh, you, your husband was the army, he got killed. You were a widow at a young age, you were left with
Mm.
kids.
Mhm.
Drug abuse. So many parents out there have lost a child at a young age. That
Mhm.
young death in this society and in this time of life is not uncommon. So someone has someone who knows somebody.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I am dating another widow who was widowed as a young age. And
That's what my sister was telling me. I was like, "Well, first of all, congrats on finding someone." And I definitely wanna get into that because you managed to navigate and turn things to a different way. And not saying that you still don't, and I know what it's like because I lost my mom, not, it's not a spouse, but I lost my mom, and I remember just I could not get past the grief for the longest time. Like, it took me forever to get to the other side of just saying, okay, just be grateful that you had her until
yes,
you were in your 40s. Because I have a friend whose mom passed away when he was 3. And I was like, but I had her all that time. Like, I had to
yes,
flip it in my brain, like, be grateful for the time you had. So now when I think about her, it's always a fond memory, something
yes.
as she said or did, or her laughter, or her just love of freaking football. Like, every Super Bowl, we would have a birthday party, for her because it was Super Bowl. Her birthday was always around Super
Always around Super Bowl.
Yeah, so you come around to the other side. So how did you get there? You talked about therapy, you talked about being grateful. What else do you
um,
think you needed to do to get to that other side?
that other big thing that got me to the other side was one, the people around me, my family and friends.
Mhm,
I got people to hold my purse and I didn't realize it. And it took me about a year after Buck died that I realized I was living in this little bit of a merry-go-round
mhm,
of grief. And I threw myself into redoing the living room and changing up the house, thinking that maybe if I change the environment and it doesn't look the exact same, that I could start to move on. And I realized I just kept doing the same thing, go out with the same people, go out with all of our friends. And there was no find, it was like living life with him still there. And he's always with me.
mhm.
It was just an overwhelming grief. Sometimes I would go out with my friends, have a great time, and come home and then wallow. I would stick myself into the septic tank.
Mhm.
And septic tanks are fun to hang out and chill by, but only for a minute. It's
A
not something
minute.
I wanted to stay in.
Mhm,
And so, about a year after, I'm like, I'm a nurse. People travel. Speaking of Monique, I knew
mhm.
Monique took the leap. She left Michigan. I'm like, you know what? I can do this.
Yeah, you can.
If I can't, and that was one of the things I learned in it, you don't know if you're going to fly unless you take that leap. You
That
have
part.
to sometimes take that jump to see if you're going to fly. And surprisingly, I did. There were times I thought I wasn't. There were times I wanted to go home so bad that it felt so lonely. But I'm like, nope, you signed a contract. You're here. You're not breaking that. You got to live it. So I started making friends. I started doing stuff. And I realized that if I just kept going, the hard days stopped being so close together. That I enjoyed going home, but I was also coming back to home.
Mhm.
And then I got into my head, how cool would it be to be that travel nurse that hit up all 50 states? Like if I
There
do
you go.
10-week contracts, let me keep going. How many of these states can I hit in a 5-year period? I'm like, I'm going to give me
Mhm.
the calendar, the map, and just go through them all. Well, fast forward a little bit into the story where Kentucky started feeling like home.
Okay.
It started growing that circle, growing that different family. And it wasn't so hard to just go home and visit and then know I was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe Michigan will always have this girl's heart.
Mine too.
Michigan is home, but home is also where I am.
Right.
And me and Mr. Ruckus took that leap. We flew and we kind of landed again. We're now at a point where we just bought a house in Kentucky and this could be a home for a little while.
I love that.
We met someone who has given me something I never thought I'd find again.
See, you know what? All y'all ladies out there thinking, it can happen for
It can
sure.
happen when you're not looking because whether it be
Exactly.
divorce or widowed or separation,
Mhm.
there is going to be someone else that checks your boxes.
Yes. Come on. Yes. Speak on it.
That is willing to hold your purses, to share your baggage.
Mhm.
You love your kids as much as you do, and you blend it and you find that common ground.
Mhm.
Me and Larry, when we met, we honestly were like, oh, is this something? Are you, because you giving me feels that someone else used to,
All right now.
and you don't want to compare it to it.
No.
But that was someone I loved. So yes, he's going to have the same qualities. He's going to have the same personality. And yet it's so much different. It's so much of a change. It's so much of what this Lola needs.
Mhm.
Because the Lola I was 4 years ago, when I was going through a cancer battle, loss of a spouse, she's grown. She's
Mhm.
different.
Of
So I
course.
need someone who understands this me. And he is it. And he is a widow as well. And it has come with its trial and tribulations. But there's a mutual respect of we know that that isn't just what our relationship is based on. It's not, oh,
Mhm.
you're a widow, I'm a widow, let's make this work. It is, I was at a different part of my grief journey when I came here. When I met him, it was still fresh. He was less than a year of being a widow.
Okay.
And so it has also been a strength for him to have someone who's been there, to go through how it feels, to respect the fact that there are times where you need space that yesterday would have been my 11-year anniversary. And you
Okay. Yeah.
do.
I saw your post on Facebook and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
And he was just kind about it. I
Hmm.
know you're having a rough day. Know I love you. Know I'm here. And there's so much still more for us.
How do
And
you navigate that though, Lola? The complexity of like the grief of losing your spouse and then having this newfound love. And I would imagine it might be similar for him as well. Like, how do you navigate that? It just seems like it's, I don't know, like
there
very
were,
parallel.
to say there's a guidebook, there isn't.
No, right?
I
I
wish
you
there
wish.
was. Life did not come with an instruction manual.
Not at all.
You just take a minute and breathe.
Okay.
When you hit the hard moments, when you hit the moments where you're not sure where to go, I write.
Okay.
I have
Journaling
my
for him.
journal.
Mm-hmm.
I have many journals. Well, I've had, because I also have this thing that when I fill up a journal, that bad boy gets burned.
Really?
Because those were thoughts and feelings I had, but I don't get to carry them. Once they end up on that piece of paper,
Okay.
that's me giving it up. That's me giving
Mhm.
it up to myself, giving it to God if it needs to,
Mhm.
just putting it out in the atmosphere that I do not want this in my purse. I don't want this in my bag
Okay.
because no
So
one
it's
else,
almost
I
like
don't
you're
want to hold
emptying
on
your
to this because of what it's making me feel.
right. So it's
So
almost like you're emptying your soul of the
into
old
a
stuff
page,
to make room for the new, right?
yes,
Love
because
that.
there's that point where you have to let it out because you can't always share despite
Right.
having the people around you. There are deep, dark thoughts we all have
Hmm.
that we don't want anybody to hear. But when we get those negative feelings about ourselves and we start to believe them, that starts bringing out who you are on the outside, that you become angry, you become
Yeah.
bitter. If you can get them down and out and be, no, I don't want to be here. I don't want to feel this. I don't want this restlessness in my soul. If you can put it down on something because you can't say it to anybody, it's you giving it to that person in your room.
Right. That's
Because
the
we all
thing.
have feelings that we're afraid to share
Mhm.
because it's self preservation to hold them in. But there are some thoughts that go through all of our head that you don't get to keep there. It's not healthy to keep them there.
No, it's not.
So if you can put them somewhere, whether it be on a piece of paper, on the mirror in a bathroom, on a post-it note,
Mhm.
on a napkin. I have notes in my phone that I'm like, oh, you've been in here a while, but we're going to delete you because I was sitting on
Okay.
the bus
Mhm.
and I just needed to get this thought out, but I didn't want to pull out my notebook because then everybody thinks you're crazy,
But
which might be.
that's so awesome. I never thought about uh that kind of a release where you can write down things, your thoughts, and then just release it and let it go and not revisit it anymore, because that's very profound, because you get it out of your energy, out of your heart and your throat chakras. Like, you get rid of that bad energy so you can get into a better headspace. I love that.
Yes. And there are times where I go for a walk or a run and my mind's just running with all these thoughts. And I don't always feel better after the walk or run
Hmm.
that I then go, okay, we're going to write these down. Because that was the half hour, 45 minutes I let myself sit in that bad space.
All right, let's switch this up a little bit, because you done found love. Tell me about how y'all met. Like, I want to hear anything that you want to share, because I see so many women on TikTok like giving up on love. And I'm like, no, don't do it.
There is something, sometimes you do got to swipe right.
That part.
Like you do. I'm not going to lie. 40-year-olds, ladies, we're not beating people in the bar. It's not happening.
No.
No one's walking up to you. It is not like it was when we were in our 20s.
Oh my God, I say that all the time. Like, men don't even come up and talk to you anymore. It's like, what's wrong with y'all?
No, because we've also created a society where we all have our phones.
Yep, true.
So that's where you're looking. You find that thing. And I had been on some very bad dates. Very bad dates.
So haven't we all, girl? That's another show. I got
That is another show. Very bad dates. I've had some very random conversations with people. And there were also good times in there.
Yeah.
And I kissed my frogs. And one day I'm like, you know what? I'm done with it. This is not like, don't need this aggravation. Put it up. And then one night I think I'd been drinking. And
I've
I
been
had this
drinking.
new,
I had Beyonce going, I've been drinking.
I've been drinking. And Larry popped up in my messages. And I was like, oh,
Wait, you swiped on him on a dating app?
yeah, I had passed him.
Okay.
But then
See?
he messaged me.
Okay,
I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And we started talking, and one thing led to another. And we will have our 1 year anniversary next weekend.
shut the front door.
Yeah. Yeah. Our
Okay.
first date, I think, was 6 hours long, sitting in a restaurant.
Okay.
Matter of fact, on our first date, we actually shared food.
What up? Oh, so y'all really had this deep connection.
Yes. And we had been talking for about a week before we actually met.
Okay.
Had actually, when I swiped, I was getting ready to go to Michigan for a visit. And he's like, oh, I'd really like to meet you. I'm like, well, it's going to have to wait. And he thought I was just brushing him off.
Okay.
I'm like, no, I'm not from here. I'm here.
Mhm.
but I'm going home for a little while. We started dating and started talking, and then it started hitting like, I really enjoy sharing my life with you,
Right.
sharing the new memories.
Mhm.
And it has just evolved. Some may say rather quickly, but I say there isn't a timeline. There's not
No,
a
yeah.
timeline and there's not an instruction manual. When you feel it, you know it.
Mhm.
And he became that person that I could just share who I was with. I don't shy at him knowing if I'm having a day where I thought about Buck, or he has no qualm in sharing a memory he may have around Brooke.
Mhm.
He is very still close with his in-laws. It was a different transition for everybody involved in there. Um, but in this all, I have realized I've gained another set of fam.
That's
That
beautiful.
these people still consider his son and their brother, and they're accepting me, and I accept them into my life. It's had some bumpy moments, but it's everyone getting used to the fact that there's grief and loss in there too.
Mhm.
They've lost a daughter and a sister. He lost his wife. And now there's this person who's now trying to navigate life with him. And it has gotten to a good space where there is people in my life that care about him that lost someone too.
Right.
And I respect that. And they respect me and they know I'm on the same situation. It's truly no different than when you bring a guy home for the first time.
Right.
They gonna give him a hard time because
Oh, for sure.
they looking out for you. Your family and your friends are always gonna look out for you.
That protection is real.
Yes, it is. I've had a lot of people go, "We like him, but are you
But
okay?"
it's always that but.
Yeah, like, "He alright, but are you alright?"
Yeah.
Like,
No.
"Do we need to be worried? Do we need to fly down there? How is this going?" And we've somehow made it work. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know,
But do you
but I
have to
know I'm
figure it
happy.
out? But do you have to figure it out? Like, do you
No,
have to
no.
determine I just feel like you have to move at the beat of your heart and do what makes you feel good. And it
Yes.
sounds like y'all have a real, like, bond and connection that I mean, you have that similarity in loss, but you're building something together. Shoot, y'all just moved in together, right?
Yes, yes.
Listen, life is lifing.
Life is lifing. Yes. We just bought a house together.
Wow,
We
that's a
have
big step. That's a big
Mr.
step, Lola.
Ruckus has a new sister and brother.
Oh, so y'all got 3 dogs.
Yes, yes. We can't forget Miss Ellie and Mr. Roman.
Fun
And actually,
times.
we've experienced a loss in our relationship.
Ooh,
When I met Larry, he had Peyton. It was a dog that him and Brooke had.
okay.
And unfortunately, right around Christmas time, we had to put him down.
Mm,
But he's got a space too. We actually have the memorial wall, we like to call it, in the new house,
okay.
where we have everybody's picture and ashes of everybody. Yes, I know.
Mhm.
Not your typical, but it's where we go when we need a minute with anybody.
Yeah, but though, does it have to be typical or can it just be what works for you?
It's our typical and it works
That's
for
what I'm
us.
saying. Yeah, if it works for you.
And we've got our Buck ashes, our Peyton ashes, our Brook ashes, and we just know they have a space in our heart and our
Mhm.
memory. And when we're having a sad moment, that we get to carry them with us. It just may not be how we really thought we were going to at first. And that's what matters.
That's all that matters. So, man, Lola, you've been through some stuff. So I'm sure you have a lot that you could share with people on how to if they're facing similar challenges, like how to not overcome it, but how to navigate it. Like, what would you say to someone that's going through what you've been through? What advice would you give them?
To keep going,
Mm,
that even in the hardest moments and hardest feelings of grief and pain, that you are still here for a reason. There
mm,
is still a purpose for you that you may or may not have thought you head in your mind. Like I said at the beginning, you have a thought of how your life is supposed to go. You have to remember that sometimes plan A is now plan Z.
Hmm.
And if you want your plan to keep going, you have to keep going. You have to find what makes you go, whether it be yoga or journaling or running or cooking or making candles. You have to find that vibe in your heart and soul that gets you going, that reminds you to keep smiling and having a good day.
I, what, you are such an inspiration, girl. Lord have mercy.
I'm
I
just here trying. I'm not here to inspire anything. I'm just here to keep
no, but
going.
you
And if
are
I
though. You
get to
are,
share it along the way, that's me trying to have my purpose.
and see, and that's where the inspiration come because you are taking your purpose. I mean, I feel like this life just puts us through things. And when we go through things, if we're paying attention, we will uncover our purpose and how we need to move forward in life. That's just my personal opinion. And I feel like you found that and you are an inspiration. You've been through a lot at such a young age and you look amazing, beautiful. You look happy. Happy looks good on you. I'm loving
Happy
that.
feels good. Happy
I'm
feels
loving that for you.
good.
Um, all right. So whenever I do these shows, I always like to ask someone if you had a boundary that you were going to create that everyone had to follow, what boundary would you tell everyone they needed to follow?
Respect my no,
Hello. Hello.
because I don't often say it. And for a long time, for a long time, I didn't know how to say no. My answer was always yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
And then I realized to be true to me and to do my best in me, I had to say no.
Listen, that's
And
that
at
self.
first, people didn't understand that. People didn't
Hmm.
respect that.
Hmm.
And that's where I get that you have to respect me saying no. No, you won't treat me like this. No, I don't want to do something. No, I'm not going to be there. Because if you know anything about me, saying no wasn't easy for me
Right.
because there was that whole mind battle I went through.
Hmm. Hmm.
So when it comes out, it's a hard no.
Listen, everybody, no. That's all about that self-care though, and I'm all about it. So I applaud you for that. I mean, because it's not easy for everyone to be able to do that, especially if they've been a people pleaser for the most part. To turn
Yes.
around and say no, that's you're protecting yourself. And
Yes.
I'm all about self-preservation. So I definitely applaud that.
See, you like the respect the no too.
Listen, I've had the gift of no and goodbye for a long time.
See, I have not. So it's real hard some days.
Listen, that the thing I'm working on the most is making sure I stay present and stay grounded in gratitude. That's the piece that I've really been working on a
And
lot.
that's a hard piece
Yeah, yeah,
because we all trying to make a plan. We all trying to figure out 6
hmm,
steps from yesterday.
yeah. And we're
But
missing
we said,
today, trying to figure it out,
"Hey,"
or we're
and
living in the past that has no bearing on today or moving forward. It's a crazy cycle to be in. But if we
yeah,
can remain present, I just believe that the universe works itself out when you
yes,
stay
it
present.
does. It has to.
Hmm. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. And despite what you say, it is inspiring. You are probably the most resilient person I've ever spoken to. I mean, to have that kind of adversity, find love, and be on the other side of happy. That's something to be celebrated. So before we wrap it up, is there anything else you want to share?
I just want to say that I'm so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be a part of something that is inspiring and pushing other people. There is just something in remembering and making sure everyone is okay, to celebrate those around you, to take the hard days, sit in your minute,
Hmm.
and then move on.
Yeah.
but move on carrying what you learned from yesterday.
Yeah.
Because yesterday showed you something that's going to help you tomorrow, but it doesn't have to weigh you down.
No.
It doesn't have to be an anchor. It needs to be a wing.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be that wing that keeps pushing you to where tomorrow might take.
Look at you. Oh, I love you.
I love you too, and I miss your face so much.
Man, I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I get to Kentucky? Or you need to come to LA.
It's called the plane, and it's like a 4-hour plane ride.
All right.
It has been such a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. Up next, we have Miss Aria.
Hey guys, I'm going to show you my award from Friday, and
So tell everyone what it is.
it's my award.
What is the award for?
It's for being good in class. So maybe you read it.
Okay, so Soliato School presents Aria Whitmore Soliato Superstar Award. You always enjoy participating in class activities, working in groups, helping others, and showing strong social skills and empathy. You are building great confidence in your reading and writing skills. Keep up the good work. And your teacher signed it, Miss Boza. Congratulations. So what did you actually do? It says that, you help everybody. Tell us what you do.
I work in groups because I do rotations and I work in groups.
What's rotation?
Rotations is like when we have red group, purple group,
Okay.
orange group, green group, yellow group.
Okay. All right.
So like the boys are in yellow group.
Mm-hmm.
There's girls in purple group, and red group has 2 boys and 4 girls.
Okay.
And well, all the ones that I say like that doesn't have all of them. When I say all of them, that means they have the boys and the girls.
Gotcha.
But when I say the boys or the girls, that means there's
So when you got the award, how did you feel?
excited, and I was like, yeah, finally my turn.
I love it. So now what happens?
And then Maddie was like, what?
Who said that?
And Maddie was like, what?
Really? Oh, she was happy for you?
Yeah, and guess what? She got one too.
That's wonderful.
And it almost said the same thing
Uh-huh.
at the last.
So now what happens that you got the superstar award?
What happened?
Mm-hmm. What happens next? Because I saw you making a poster with your mom. So what's going to happen? What are you going to do with that poster?
I'm supposed to show everyone my poster.
When are you going to show them?
On Friday.
So you're going to get in front of the class and talk about yourself?
Yeah, there's like a chair right in front of it.
Uh-huh.
And then and then I just tell them what the pictures are and what my favorite things to do is. Like, I like to play outside.
Uh-huh.
I like to pet my dog.
Okay.
And my favorite food is pizza.
Mine too.
Did you know I actually like the same flavor as you?
What?
Same toppings?
Yeah? What topping?
Delicious. I keep forgetting the toppings though.
Oh, I love me some
The
what?
say it.
Say it.
Do you like olives on your pizza?
I do.
That's what I eat.
Okay.
Do you like artichoke?
I love me some now. I love me some artichokes. Yes, indeed.
I love and wait, did I say olives already?
Yep, you said olives.
Oh, do you like the spinach?
I do. So you like a healthy pizza, all right, up top.
Oh, and I know you like the cheese on before like the thing.
Oh yeah. On top. Not a lot of sauce though.
Yeah, not a lot of tomato sauce.
No, not a lot of tomato sauce.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't like it?
I like it, but just a little bit. Well, good luck with presenting your Superstar Award on Friday. I can't wait for you to come home and tell us about it.
Bye-bye.
And that wraps up another empowering episode of Hold My Purse with our special guest, Miss Lola. I know she doesn't believe it, but I am so inspired by her resilience, strength, courage, and just her ability to push forward no matter what. Oh, and here's an update since this episode was recorded. My girl is now an engaged woman, so let me just update my Bumble profile and get to swiping right because clearly it paid off for her. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends because this isn't a podcast. This is a movement. Together, let's build a tribe of self-care warriors who own their own lives and live it to the fullest. Let self-care be your ride or die companion on this wild, wild journey we call life. Slay those challenges, conquer those obstacles, and as always, keep your self-care purse within arm's reach. Until next time, my fabulous friends, remember to put yourself first and to hold my purse. Peace.